everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel Sienna Daily Spoiler. Noah loses control as Sienna delivers her last word.
Noah loses control. Sienna's last words reveal the real father and hidden crimes. YNR shock. Sienna Powell lies half-supported in a chair, pale and shivering. Noah Fisher paces like an animal with a broken map, grief, fury, exhaustion. He carries a phone that vibrates with missed calls. Noah, call me. Nick, Chance, where are you? Matt Clark watches. He's tired, wary, like someone who has been on the run and finally stopped to breathe. Noah, voice frayed. Talk. Just talk. Tell me one thing that isn't a lie. Sienna laughs weakly, a sound that dissolves in the wet air. Sienna, you know, Noah, if you wanted answers, you should have brought a recorder. Noah stares. The camera of his anger zooms in. He takes a step toward her. His hands tremble. Noah loses control. Sienna's last words reveal the real father and hidden crimes. YNR shock. The interrogation. Warehouse, continuous. Noah throws a wet hand across his face and sinks onto an old crate, eyes burning. Noah. Start at the beginning. Who paid you? Who was orchestrating this? Sienna blinks slowly. She looks like someone who has rehearsed a confession her whole life. Sienna. It wasn't always money, Noah. Sometimes it was favors. Sometimes it was fear. Sometimes it was power. Matt. Angry whisper. We don't have time for riddles. Sienna's gaze flicks to Matt. There is a softness that makes him wince. Sienna. Matt. You need to know your last name is not what you think. The air stops. Noah's mouth opens, closes. The bulb swings again. Noah. What does that even mean? Sienna. It means that every time you thought you were alone out there, someone else was pulling strings. Matt's face tightens the way knives make leather tighten. He leans forward. Matt. I thought I was doing this to survive, to get past a thing I was accused of. Was there anything real to me at all? Sienna manages a smile that's thinner than the paper used to wrap the meds she once swapped. Sienna. You are real. But you weren't who you thought you were. Not completely. And the reason you were pushed into certain places? It wasn't just circumstance. She coughs, the sound wet and small. Noah. You're not making sense. Who put us in all of this? Sienna. Whisper. He did. Silence, like a held breath. The camera tilts to the doorway. A shadow crosses the threshold. Chance Chancellor. Rough coat soaked. Flashlight in hand. Chance. Hands up. Easy. Noah. I'm here. Nobody move. Noah straightens, the rope of fury loosening a fraction. Noah. Sienna. Tell him. Tell Chance. Sienna's eyes are slippery with rain and something else, regret. She strokes the side of her neck as if searching for words. Sienna. His name is Victor. Matt's head whips up. Noah's face goes gray with a cold the blood can't fix. Noah. Victor Newman? Sienna. Yes. Victor Newman. The light tilts off the bulb like a slow fall. What she admits. Warehouse later. Detective Chance kneels, careful cot side, pulling on gloves. Noah paces like a man trying to be a metronome. Chance. Sienna. We need the whole story. Start from the adoption ledger you mentioned, the ledger that tied payments to someone's accounts. Sienna's hands shake as she reaches for a battered envelope. Inside, notes, small prints, a ledger with transfers and dates. She hands them to Chance with the slow dignity of someone making a last will. Sienna. Soft. Years back, there was a ledger. Transfers labeled medical support, resettlement, discretion. They were routed through shell accounts, then into places that served their purpose. People were paid to keep quiet. People were paid to move things. Noah slaps his own hand to his mouth. Noah. You knew. You watched them bury things with money. Sienna. Burying is a nice word. We polished things, rewrote ledgers, fed paper to the fire. People call it cleanup. I called it survival. Matt. Who benefits? Sienna coughs. Her breath rattles. Sienna. Not just one man, but his empire. Some things go straight to the top. Lines of money that trace back to Newman trusts. Transfers routed to a fixer who makes trouble disappear. Noah grips the crate behind him until his knuckles whiten. Noah, you're saying Victor Newman, our city's kingpin, had a hand in this from the start? Sienna whispers. Not just a hand. A design. He wanted control. He wanted talented people silenced. He needed scapegoats. He needed tidy endings. And he paid for them. Chance exhales slowly, processing the weight. Chance. That's a big claim. We need proof, Sienna. Something concrete that ties Victor to the transfers. She slides a photograph across the crate, a blurred image, but clear enough. A signer slapping a pen to a payment order. A ledger with handwriting that matches a signature on an old Forrester Logan list. A plate number. A name. Sienna. This is the route. This is how they hid money. And this is the most important. She retrieves a small flash drive from her shirt, the kind that people use when they intend to be believed. Sienna, so indeed. There are copies. Ledgers, voicemails, transactions. I put a copy where it would be safe, an old mailbox, a lawyer's P.O. box. If this gets out, there's no more spin. Noah takes the drive as if it reroutes blood in his body. Noah. And the other thing, what do you mean about the real father? Sienna breathes like someone climbing a last hill. Sienna. There isn't a real father for just one person. There are several, but one matters more. Matt, your parentage was changed. You were switched into a file that made you someone else's son. Not by accident. Matt's eyes go to the ceiling, as if seeking stars he never learned to wish on. Matt. Say it. Sienna. Your biological father, if you want a name, is Victor Newman. The words hang like a detonator. Noah's chest collapses inward with the sound of a window being smashed. Noah. Screaming. What? That's absurd. Matt. Voice low. Noah, don't. Noah. Ignoring. You expect me to swallow that like it's an anecdote? Victor Newman? Sienna's hands fall away, small and empty. Sienna. He paid for the adoption reroute. He paid for the paperwork. He wanted to bury a scandal and create an heir who would be loyal and indebted. We lied. We doctored. I was part of it. For money. For protection. Chance's training claws at him. This is a major allegation that will rip through courts and living rooms. Chance. If that's true, there will be legal fallout. Huge. We need to secure that drive, log it, confirm chain of custody. Noah. Voice breaking. And what about Allie? Was that them too? Sienna. Shakes head, then nods. Not directly. But cover-ups have ripples. When people are protecting a power structure, they will do what it takes. They remove people in the margins. Allie. Some people were afraid her curiosity would open too many doors. The warehouse spins for Noah. Custom and law become a blur of faces and debts. His hands clamp into fists. Noah loses control. Warehouse, moments later. Noah snaps. The slow hour of threat collapses into movement. He lunges toward a hanging chain, yanks it down, standing, wild-eyed. Noah. To Chance. You can't lock him up if you don't even have the proof on your chest, detective. You're going to watch him wipe his hands and walk. Chance. Noah, calm down. We do this by the book. Noah. Throws a chair. By the book? By the book, my sister. By the book, everything we loved was shoved into a trunk and labeled expedient. Matt stands to intervene. Noah swings, raw. A wet crash as a lamp falls. Dark water spills across the floor. Chance steps in between them like a referee. Chance, so indeed. Noah. You don't get to hurt someone and say the truth excuses you. Noah. I don't care. He lurches toward Sienna. Chance catches his shoulder hard enough to steady him. Chance, so indeed. I'm taking you in, Noah, composure or not. Noah. Snarling. Take me in. Take me anywhere. But don't think for a second I'll be silent. Chance's radio crackles. Voices in the rain. Backup on the way. Sienna watches all of this with a strange tenderness, as if watching a child finally see the teeth of a world. Sienna. Soft. Noah, listen to me. He turns, breath heaving, and something in her voice draws him down. For a second, he is a boy again, hopeful for absolution. Noah. Voice breaking. Then tell me now. Tell me his name. Give me the weapon. Give me the ledger. Whatever I need. Sienna exhales in a way that sounds like giving up a secret that's been carrying her. Sienna. I already gave it away. The drive goes to an attorney whose name I once trusted. It's scheduled for release if I don't check in every month. Noah's eyes are a furnace. Noah. Who's the attorney? Where's the drive? She coughs again, more violently. Blood speckles her lips. The reality of her body's betrayal steps in. Sienna. Horse. I wrote the key down on the back of my old receipt book. It's inside, on page 37. The lawyer's name? Evelyn Hart. P.O. Box 379. You have to break it open. Chance fumbles his pen, writes, and radios in. Chance. Quiet. We'll move fast. Noah is barely listening. The world narrows to a single flame of revenge and proof. He moves, fast, grabbing Sienna's chin, demanding. Noah. You swear to me it's true. Victor is the man behind everything? Sienna's eyes float. Tears make tracks down dust. Sienna. Whisper. He is. And he did more. He used every favor to cover crimes. He used his power to make people disappear. I'm sorry, Noah. I'm so sorry. Her knees fold. She collapses, soft as a thing that has been emptied. Noah catches her, shakes her, yells. The sound the camera wants to keep is raw. Chance. She's losing a lot of blood. Get her help. Now. Noah boggles in indecision, rage and panic. He launches himself out into the rain to flag down the patrol car. Chance calls it in. Aftermath and confession. Hospital emergency room. Night. Sienna is on a gurney. Nurses hustle like insect wings. Noah sits in the corridor, soaked, disintegrating into a blanket that cannot hold him. Matt leans into him, a small, steady presence. Matt. Quiet. Noah, breathe. Noah. I wanted to tear him apart. I wanted to. I don't know what I wanted. I just wanted her not to be alone in the dark. Matt. She's not alone. We're here. A doctor appears, grim, and whispers that Sienna's wounds are worse than expected. The kit had been delayed. The blood loss was severe. There is a way medical staff talk that is both hopeful and honest. It's the language of whether a life will be kept. Doctor. She's stable for now. She might not wake, though. Noah's hands go to his face. He screams into them, not sound like a normal thing, a howl that pulls people's eyes. Hospital. ICU later. Machines blink. Sienna is pale, vast with tubes and paper. She is awake, but weak, breathing shallow. Noah. Near tears. Tell me. If you go, tell me. Is there anything else? Names. Dates. Proof. Sienna. Weak smile. You have what you need, Noah. You have my ledger. You have my fear. You have the drive. She coughs, a small choked wet sound. Sienna, so indeed. Very soft. One more thing about Matt. About his past. Matt squeezes Noah's hand in silence, the wordless pact of men who share the present. Sienna, so indeed. His childhood. There was a woman in the records. A name they hid. Her name was Dina. But she wasn't just a midwife. She was paid to sign away records. She left notes that said, if you ever look at the date, May 7th. Matt's brow contracts like a fist. Matt. May 7th? That was the night when everything was messy. Sienna. Whispers fading. Look to the hospital logs. The janitor saw a man, not an orderly, slip in at 2 a.m. He was holding a briefcase. He left a ledger behind. They changed a name. They changed a life. Noah sobs, a huge animal sound in a small corridor. Noah. We'll get it. We'll get it all. Sienna. Smiles, a tiny, guilty smile. Noah, one last thing. Noah. Anything. Sienna. Very faint. Forgive me someday. She takes a ragged breath. The heart monitor ticks like a reluctant metronome. Sienna, so indeed. Tell the truth, Noah. Let the ledger be the loudest voice. Her eyes flutter. The machine hisses. For a long minute the room is held like a chapel. Then, quietly, Sienna's eyes slide shut. Her chest stills. Her hand relaxes in Noah's. A nurse checks her, voice hollow, and then she speaks the simple line that no one wants. Time of death, 2:14. Noah stays perfectly still, the light of the corridor reflecting in his wet face like two moons. The city outside rages and sleeps. Inside, a man who'd lost much more than a confidant clenches the record like a rope. The shockwave hits. Newman Ranch, morning. By dawn, the world is radioed. The drive is secured. Authorities move quickly. A search warrant for Evelyn Hart's P.O. box. Subpoenas for bank transfers. In living rooms, coffee slides cold across saucers. In corporate offices, legal counsel read and reread lines that carry indictments in the margins. Victor Newman receives the news like a man who listens to pain as a negotiation point. His face is a careful mask. Outside his office, reporters gather like gulls. Noah. Voice hoarse on a rooftop. She named him. She named him and she died. Matt. We have a lead. We have a box. We have the truth. For once, that's something to hold. But truth is not an immediate salve. It's a war that will require lawyers, investigators, and courage. The ledger's pages will be examined. Signatures will be tested. The name Victor Newman will be questioned in ways the city has not seen in decades. Courthouse later. Stone steps. Cameras. Lawyers. A city that will eat its icons for lunch. Chance stands with a file so fat it sweats. Noah comes up the courthouse, steps like a man who stepped out of a nightmare into daylight. Noah. Quiet. No one keeps secrets once they write them down. Chance. We'll do our job. It's going to be messy. It's going to be loud. But you did what Sienna asked. You brought the ledger. She did that much for all of us. Noah nods, slow, a man learning what grief chooses to teach. Ending and cliffhanger. Victor Newman's office, evening. Victor sits behind his desk, looking small and enormous at once. The phone rings, an anonymous text pings. We remember the night of May 7th. You will not like what the hospital files say. He looks at the city through the window, like a chess player who just had an unexpected pawn promoted. He picks up his phone and dials. Victor. Intense low. Get me every file tied to May 7th. Every ledger. Start with the janitor. Start with the man who carried the briefcase. And find me the person who put the ledger in Sienna's hands. The camera pulls out. Outside the glass, the city continues. Lights, fog, and the wet sheen of rain. Inside, legal teams mobilize, reputations brace, and one ledger waits to be opened wide enough to show the rot behind a gilded facade.